But I found that my wife is cheating with a high school friend she reconnected with a couple of weeks ago. I have the full log of text messages between them and all its sordid details. And these messages, it appears clear that they hooked up at least 3 times. Not only that, but she is bragging about having sex with this guy to 2 of her friends. I confronted her and she breaks down crying and starts telling me that it was just an online-only fantasy. She tells me that I drove her to this because I didn't give her enough attention and that she was desperate. It's true. We haven't had sex very frequently lately because I have a relatively low libido to begin with. I am full of resentment at the fact that I do 90% of the housework and childcare and the fact that I haven't slept in the bed for a couple of years because she likes to co-sleep with the kids. I guess I am culpable. Apparently, I made her do this. She also says she stuck with me through all the things I have done in the past. I was not very good with money for a while and overspent, forcing her to borrow money from her dad. I had a brief period where I questioned my sexuality. Bisexual and I have been a frequent user of porn. Are these things equivalently odious? Should I allow myself to be guilted into staying in this marriage like this? Anyway, through all this, I have no photos of them together, so I guess I can't definitively prove anything. Yet the texts appear to be clear what happened, despite her insistence that they are just fantasies. I start to relent and give her what she wants. I suggest maybe we need to see someone to help sort through these problems. We did counseling in the past, but I'm not a very emotionally open guy and had a hard time talking. But she also resisted the counselor whenever he pushed back against her. She wanted him to fix me and didn't take kindly to being told that she might have a role to play in our difficulties, too. So after we conclude this discussion with her steamrolling me and offering to let me text her repair partner and friend for more info, I come to find out later from her text messages that she was texting both her fair partner and one of her friends to see if they would cover for and tell me it was a fantasy only. I printed every text message he sent him. Why would you use text to contact someone to arrange cover? Good grief. I haven't confronted her yet about this, but it sure doesn't bode well for any reconciliation. We tried to have some make-up sex after, but before I read her attempts at covering things up. But I had a hard time maintaining an erection and couldn't finish because I kept thinking about the things I said in the messages. I don't know about reconciliation. I was all set to leave her, and then the crocodile tears got me. But this new revelation of cover stories opens it all up again. I don't know what to do anymore. She makes more than I do. We have a house, kids, etc. And being a very involved parent, I need to have my kids at least 5,050. I'm afraid that my low-paying job will hinder that as a possibility. Any advice? Thanks for reading. Update: last hope of reconciliation shattered. So I had a sneaking suspicion that my wayward spouse would use this her last opportunity to stray before going back into work. Work from home. Previously, full-time next week. Plus the fact that the repair partner usually has Friday off to have another meet-up with a repair partner and screw me sideways. But I was right. Despite her protestations that she wants to reconcile, she has continued contact with her partner and contacted him to meet today and lunch. He shut her down and said it would be a bad idea. Now she is upset that she is being rejected by 2 men. I just can't even believe what's going on here. But before any of you proceeded calling me a doormat, my resolve was firm yesterday, but only strengthened today. I meet with lawyers next week. Not sure whether to even bother confronting her with this. I just have no hope left. Remember, for those considering reconciliation, trust but verify. Update. So goddamn angry right now. My wife went to see her doctor today. When I got home, she told the doctor her story. She told me that the doctor agrees with her, that she had no choice but to do what she did and that she shouldn't take any blame for her actions. She also told her, "Doc, that I have been talking to my dad about this affair. Her doctor apparently thinks that I was wrong to do so. But what the F? This is my freaking dad. I have one friend in this town, and he is supportive generally, but not terribly profound. Who the heck else am I supposed to talk to? I can't turn around here without bumping into someone that doesn't know all of my dirty laundry." Since my wife has always been fond of offloading all of her relationship problems in her friends. And she knows this bothers me. We had this argument a few years ago where she was talking to friends, including a mutual friend, about her problems with me. It got to the point where I was embarrassed to be around my friends since they seemed to know everything going on. From my wife's point of view, of course, and the minimizing of my feelings continues. She says, "Don't be angry. Just calm down. Just get over it." Hot dang it. I'm so freaking angry right now. I'm shaking. This is a whole new level of manipulation. Livid update: soon to be ex-wife passed the polygraph. What to do now? She passed the polygraph today. She passed the phone to me triumphantly and mad at me at the same time, since I never believed her. I talked to the examiner and he says she passed with flying colors. I told her I still smell BS. She came home and has locked herself in the bedroom, texting frantically, asking her friends, "What do I do now?" I frankly still don't believe it. There are still far too many inconsistencies in the story and text to believe it. But this definitely doesn't help me any. Update: polygraphs and their value in determining cheating. Does anyone else out there use polygraph to cut through the lies of a wayward spouse? Mine denied cheating despite all the evidence, including her and her fair partner's own words, because there still remains a slight shred of plausible deniability owing to the fact that I don't have any photographic evidence of sex having occurred. Frankly, I think she is full of crap. However, she offered to get a polygraph to prove her innocence and to validate her claim that this was all a made-up fantasy world that her and her fair partner carried on via text. I said, "Fine, sure, whatever you want." Frankly, I think polygraph is a little more than a circus trick, and I get a really weird reality TV vibe from the people offering the service. She went and did the first polygraph with an inconclusive result. This company offers a free retest. I found out that she took a couple of lorazepam tablets before the test that she got from a helpful coworker read co-conspirator in an attempt to gain the test. She had initially wanted to gain the test by writing questions that would be largely irrelevant, such as were other people present, to getting to the issue at hand. So she goes for a retest in a couple of days, and I found out that she has been given more lorazepam by her coworker. I found them in her purse and switched the pills with some vitamin pills of a smaller size. I guess we will see what happens. And the blame game continues. Still no remorse. She blames me for everything and even told me today that she's glad that I feel this way. Maybe now you'll know what it feels like. Indeed, every word that comes out of her mouth strengthens my resolve to be done with this once and for all. I have scheduled some individual counseling for myself next week and now have a lawyer working for me. Regardless of the outcome of the test, I am done. Update: 2 wife caught in the affair but claims it was online only. I've had a few people ask for an update, so I thought I would post one here. Despite the fact will probably all rake me over the coals for being on a sort of etc. Anyway, the ex-wife continues to deny any physical involvement with a pair partner. She is doubling down on her story the day we got the polygraph and I called BS. She decided to take the kids for a couple of hours and texted me, calling me a freaking moron and told me I took the kids. So you can see what it is like to be without your family. Thanks, real nice, already weaponizing the children. Keep in mind, too, that throughout all of this, I have yet to swear at her, yell at her, call her names. She has now done all 3. And to top it off, I grey rocked her for a week, and so I slept in the basement. In response to this, she started to say that I was treating her horribly. I mean, really, I was giving her the cold shoulder and not giving her any attention. And yet she continues to blame me for everything. Lies to me, turns me into the butt of all the jokes in her workplace. And I'm the one treating her horribly. Indeed, she was still in constant contact with her partner until last Friday, even in the text to inform him she would not be contacting him. She qualified it by saying for a while. No, this is not for a while. This is permanent. She just does not get it. Her claim all along is that this was strictly online and that because online. Not a relationship. Really not a relationship. She has a personal history with this guy. She met up with him 3 times, but because most of it was via text, there's no relationship. She even goes on Facebook on Friday and posts something to the effect that you don't realize how important someone is until you can't talk to them anymore. Somehow I don't think she is talking about me. I found out today that she is telling her friends that she misses him so bad. Funny that she would say that if it was not a relationship. Her coworkers are also looking for other ways to get her in contact with him via email or some other means. Definitely not over. Last week, I also got an admission from her coworker that she was indeed lying on the polygraph. She said, well, actually, I was lying. I'm pretty good. I could be a criminal. I should rob a bank. I would pass the test. She also admitted to taking so much of her coworkers' lives of Pam that she doesn't even remember the drive back to work that day. I also heard that she has been saying that the affair. A partner wants to do it again. She wants to do it again. She seems to have an obsession with this truck and so badly wants to go for a ride in it. They never got a chance before I broke up the fun, but clearly it is still on her mind. But apparently, he is such a sweet guy that he wants us to fix up our marriage first. She wrote me a sob story of a letter in which she once again pinned all the blame on me and even said that I would really like her partner is really cool guy. Indeed. I would like to see him spit his teeth out on the floor. I stopped reading. I left my ring on the bathroom counter last week and she came home and found it. She came and badgered me for an hour while I was cooking supper, and eventually I relented and put it back on. She came home Friday in tears after I texted her about how this was affecting me. She is, I think, maybe starting to realize the crap she has caused and finally acknowledge my feelings. I softened again, but I also haven't really changed my mind. I just want the argument to end and I just am not assertive enough to say enough is enough. Just F off. So I went for a 3-hour walk and have started to let her back in a little. I also agreed to marriage counseling this week. I don't want to go since I started to let her in a little. She has once again started to invalidate my feelings and trying to get me to agree with her that what she did does not constitute a relationship, etc. If I would just do that, I would feel less stressed. It's just that simple. I had a really good session with therapist last week who works on the same office where we are taking our marriage counseling. She was very affirming and thinks that I should trust my gut on this one. She stopped short of advocating for divorce, saying that it's my choice, but also said that I deserve better. Pretty sure I understand her subtext. Marriage counseling will be with a different therapist, but in the same office. So this gives me some hope. They might be more or less on the same page and will push back against my soon-to-be ex-wife a little. I know her primary agenda is to push for an open marriage, I guess through marriage counseling. I hope to present the whole story of what happened and hope to reiterate my desire for divorce. Perhaps having someone else there will help to embolden me and bolster my position. I don't know, though, taking a bit of risk here, I think, given the fact I know most of you seem to disagree with marriage counseling, and under the circumstances, I do have a lawyer on retainer. Unfortunately, it is a slow process so far. His advice, starting with a mutually agreed separation agreement, as it tends to be a less conflictual and litigious process over straight-up filing. I know this will disappoint some of you and me, frankly, that there may be a dramatic serving of papers in the workplace. But I, as relatively low-income earner and with 3 kids, I'm inclined to agree with his advice, at least for now, and depending on what her response is and the type of lawyer she decides to select. I am in the process of gathering the necessary documents for him to get started on this. In the meantime, I'm a little less of a wreck than I was a week ago,